over to my dad's today, and my dad's Claire Ash. If some of you have never met him before on some of these videos, he's 97 years old, and he's got a lot of stories to tell. And Dad, tell the story about how you won that contest with a potato.
Okay, we lived in Lansing at a gravel pit. My dad worked on that, and my granddad was about ready to lose the farm. And the president of the bank here in Charlotte, he called Dad and asked if he'd come in and see him. And so back when the banks and everything was open on Saturday nights, why, I can remember coming back to Charlotte and visiting with the president of the bank here in Charlotte. And my dad made $2 a day in the gravel pit, and he's told my dad that he would like for him to come back to the farm and help your dad because we don't want to foreclose on that farm. He only owed $1,700 and they were going to foreclose on it and lose the farm. The farm was bought back in 1868 for $600. And Dad decided, him and Mom, that they're going to go back to the farm. And we lived in a chicken coop in Lansing. That's where we lived. 8 by 16 building. And we got back out here at the farm, and the house had been vacant for 13 years. And the woodchucks had moved in. And we came back over here on Sunday and opened the doors, and they had holes in the basin and everything else. And I remember Dad saying, "Open the doors, Junior, we're going to run them out because we're moving in tomorrow." and that's what we done. No water, no bathroom, no heat outside of a cook stove. And that's how we started. And of course, Mom, she was all kind of strict in a way, but when we come back out here, she told me, "Don't you go out there and get in them buildings." Well, I'm 6 years old, and here's this great big tool barn that my granddad had his tractors and his machineries in. And I walked around the outside, you know, and there was a board a foot wide that was missing. Well, what does a 6-year-old boy do but go in the barn? And when I get in there, there's what we used to call Old Goldie. It was an 8 International. We call her Old Goldie. I don't know where that name come from, but anyway, that's what Dad and Granddad called it, that engine. Really what it was a 15-horse make and break, and he used it to thrash. He had corn huskers, and that barn was full. But anyway, I lost.
We were going to talk about the potato.
Oh, the potato. That's a different subject.
Yeah.
Okay, but it joins in.
Okay.
We joined, the folks joined the Grange, which was a farm organization. Some of the old timers will remember. But anyway, we joined that, and we had a lady in there, Mrs. Estelle. She took care of the young people, and at this spring meeting, she's got all the kids around, and she says, we're going to have a potato race, and whoever can raise the most potatoes from 2 potatoes will win. So I get my 2 potatoes, and I go home, and of course, Grandpa was there. He was always there, and I was always with him. But anyway, he says, Junior, he says, look at that potato. Do you see them little eyes all over? He says, if you will cut them potato and leave an eye at each piece, you'll have 7 or 8 potatoes. And I didn't know that. Probably a lot of people didn't know. So here I end up with 7 or 8 potato seeds.
From 1 potato?
On 2 potatoes.
Oh, for 2 potatoes.
And that fall I won.
What'd you win? Do you remember?
God, I don't remember, but I know that because of my granddad telling me that, and he was that way all the time. He was, honest to God, he was one of the, you just loved that old man except for his damn beard. Everybody back in days had a beard. And Grandpa smoked or chewed Red Man, but he was a little bit dirty when he spit.
Get in the beard.
Get in the beard, and Grandpa would want to give me a hug, you know, and I liked the hug, but I'd be damned if I liked that damn beard coming at me full of juice. But anyway, that was the potato story, but I learned a lot from him. He could do anything. He built land rollers for farmers because the soils were so clay that you had to roll over them so you could plant. Back in them days, you know, it was different than what it is now. But anyway, I don't know, I've lost.
He made other things besides that roller.
Oh, he could make anything.
Yeah.
In fact, about a week or 10 days ago, I was looking at some junk out in the barn, and there was a hook that he made, and I know he's worked. I could tell he's worked. And that thing is 150 years old.
Yeah.
But anyway.
He did blacksmithing too, right?
He had a good blacksmith. He was a carpenter. He was a stonemason. He could do anything. And he even made, attempted to make, he liked the violin. He could really play the violin. And he tried to make a violin for me, and he did get the thing done, but he got sick then. But I do remember him saying that we're going to have to send a Sears Roebuck and get some kind of varnish or something he wanted special. But I don't know where that went.
The violin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he could do that, you know, and
so you never played the violin?
No.
But you played clarinet in the high school band, right?
Oh, yeah.
Tell the story about you guys winning the, was it a championship for, over in Holland? Holland, Michigan?
Oh, yeah, we was in the band here in Charlotte, and our first trip to Holland, Michigan, we won. And our band leader was out of the service, and he's real strict, you know. And he said, for God's sake, when you're at attention, you look straight ahead and you say, yes, sir, and no, sir. Well, he knew what this girl was. I knew he could tell what she was. She was a blabbermouth. And he picked her out and asked her a question. And she started talking, but we still won.
Okay.
And we came into Charlotte about 2 o'clock in the morning by the train to the depot. And Mr. Hines said, now I want you kids to show your respect and stuff because these people really love you. And I want to hear you play. We're going to march to the school and I want to hear music all the way. No in and out. And when we got to the depot, lights came on all over, you know. Well, that just pumps you up, you know.
Sorry for the interruption, but for some reason my phone just quit. So Dad was talking about his grandpa, so we're going to pick it up from there. Tell that story again, Dad.
We were back at the farm, and I got home from country school, and Granddad was doing chores. I always got it where I could help him do chores, you know, and he was getting straw in and stuff like that. And he had a tarp that was about 6 foot square and had a rope on each corner. And he would grab straw and pile it on there and take the ropes, and that's what he carried in the barn. Well, the old buck sheep was still outside. And when he bent over, that buck sheep seen an opportunity. And he hit him right in the rear end as hard as he could, and Granddad goes into the straw and then the other stuff, you know, and
Sprawled right out.
yeah, he sprawled all over in the mud and everything else, you know. And he gets up and he brushes it off, his dirt and stuff, and this is the barnyard, you know, so there's other stuff in there. But anyway, he gets up and he, let's see, how was that? First of all, he went in the barn and got his Red Man chewing tobacco. And he just jammed that stuff in his mouth as much as he could get in, and then he went to the corn crib and he got our corn. And on the way back to the barn, he shelled those kernels off. And I'm on the inside of the barn, on the door, and he said, "Okay, Junior, let him in." And when he went by, the buck sheep went by him, he grabbed him. And he straddled that buck sheep with his, you know, and he took that cob. He had already spit on it so many times, you know, it was running. But then he started rubbing that poor buck sheep's eyes. And he done it till they bled. And I can still see that buck sheep staying outdoors. He didn't come in the barn for a long time. And, but Granddad got his revenge. I thought that was a pretty good story to tell. Homemade.
Well, is that enough stories for today?
Well,
You got any more you want to tell?
you gotta give me a little while to think about that.
We'll pick it up another time then. Hey, I just want to say thank you folks that watch Dad's stories, and I appreciate the comments that you leave, and I always read those comments to Dad, and it's just a lot of fun to be able to have Dad reminisce and tell the stories, and for you folks that are watching to interact and tell us how much you like to hear these stories. And they're not made up. What Dad tells is really happened. So
that's the truth.
That's the truth. All right. Well, until the next time, take care and God bless.